To start off this lesson, we are going to be classifying and sorting shapes or figures based on the attributes and properties. To do this and to learn about what children can do when we are going to be using the Van Healy model. The Van Healy model, this is an example of what it looks like. A little closer. You'll notice that it has numbers. This is stage 0, stage 1, and stage 2. The properties of the Van Healy model. First, it has to be sequential. A person must proceed through the levels in order. To function at a higher level, students must have acquired skills of levels below it. For this reason, many high school students who are at a 0 or a 2 are really going to struggle with doing proofs in geometry, which are at a level 3 and higher. The second property is advancement. To progress from level to level, it really depends on the content and methods of instruction and not the age. So a younger child can be at level 2 while a high schooler is still at level 1 or 0 just because they do struggle with shapes. And the third property is mismatch. If the student is at one level and instruction by the teacher is at a different level, the desired learning and progress will never occur. And so that's why it's important to figure out what level your students are at and to go from there. So this is a good representation of it. It shows that at level 0, they're learning about shapes and visualization. So they're able to describe things using the names of shapes without talking about things. So such as the pizza is a circle, or I put these shapes together because they're all pointy. Whereas at level 1, they're able to analyze and classify the shapes. So they're able to say things such as squares have 4 equal sides and 4 equal angles. And they also can describe the attributes of shapes and compare and contrast by finding similarities and differences. And they can also measure distance and discover attributes about them. The second level is informal deductions, property of shapes and relationships among properties. So they're able to create new shapes from existing shapes and understand that a square is also a rectangle and things like that. If you were to show a child a shape such as it's supposed to be a rectangle. It's a rectangle. A level 0 child would be able to say that this is a rectangle. Each level 0, 1, and 2 will all be able to identify the rectangle. But the thing is how they identify it and what they describe it as. At a level 0, they will use things and say things as such as it looks like one, or it looks like a door. And this is because they're more visual and they're relating it with visual things. Also, at a level 1, they would say it's a rectangle because it has 4 sides, two long sides and 2 shorter sides. The opposite sides are all parallel, and then there are 4 right angles. And then a level 2 would be able to say it's a parallelogram with 4 right angles. And they're able to describe it with a minimum number of properties. Next, for the differences between a level 0 and a level 1, you could draw shapes you could draw each of these shapes, and at a level 0, they would identify that A, B, C, D, and F are all triangles. They would not identify E as a triangle because they would say it was too skinny. The difference between a level 0 and a level 1, at a level 1, they would say that only these last two are triangles because this is not closed. This one has shapes going in. This one has too many sides. This one is rounded, not straight. For different activities for the levels, at a level 0, if you're having them group things, you could say that if you ask them to group something and you ask them to describe why they grouped it, they would group shapes based on looking alike. So they would group these as triangles because they're all pointy, whereas in one they would only group these two because they have the attributes of being a triangle. For some activities, for level 0, you would involve physical things, such as a home. So you could have a child draw a house, and then they would be able to say, well, this is a triangle because it's pointy for the roof, and this is a rectangle or a square because it is the part of the house. And then a level 1, you could describe to them, we have 4 sides that are all equal and they have 90-degree angles. What is it? And without a picture or anything, they would automatically be able to say that it is a square. You could also have them group shapes. So you could cut out colored pictures or black and white and have them group them together and then describe, why is this group together? And they could explain that some groups are together because they have 3 sides, or others are together because they have 4. And then for level 2, you could have them develop their own definitions of things. So say, this is a square, why is it a square? And they would have to make up the definition. The progression throughout the Van Healy digraph can be progressed if it has good teaching and if the teachers know how to identify the different levels of their students and work with those.